What's up, guys? It's Mitch with SC Weather. I'm just coming at y'all with a little bit of an update of some things I'm seeing weather-wise. I'm going to talk a little bit about this weekend and our storm chances, and also past that, once we get past the torch that I talked about in my last video, where we're going to see highs in the 70s, lows might not even get below 60 degrees. It's going to be humid some days for winter standards, and I'm trying to speak a little bit more on what I see after that. Now some trends lately have been, we're starting to see maybe the potential of a pattern change towards the end of the month. The end of the month, guys, not mid-month, end of the month. I really think we're just going to basically trash mid-January as far as winter weather. And I think some that might make some people happy. Some people like warm weather at all times. Me, I think that's boring as a weather enthusiast. I want to see some kind of winter weather in winter. We're in South Carolina. It does not happen much, I know, but it would be nice if it would happen. So, talking about what I'm seeing, and some other people are seeing also and talking about, is the potential for maybe a pattern change. Now, what I think personally is, I'm going to kind of just go over what I'm thinking and then kind of show y'all some graphics off Tropical Tidbits, which, guys, that's a great site. Pivotal Weather's a great site. There's a lot of free sites out there that, if you're a weather enthusiast, and just a person that's wanting to know more about weather, a little bit more in depth of it, it's a pretty easy site to get the hang of once you use it a little bit. And a lot of people ask me, what's this model show? What's this model show? And it has it all there. And I know it's not always easy to read, but it's color coded. And once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not that bad to read. So I would advise definitely learning that, so you can be up to date with us weather enthusiasts, with us meteorologists. I'm not a meteorologist. Let me back up with that. I'm just an enthusiast. I love the weather, and I learn more and more from friends that I've met on Twitter, friends everywhere, and just self-learning, you know. Anyways, now that I'm done kind of just blabbing away, so as far as a pattern change, it's looking like maybe 2 weeks or so, maybe around late next week into next weekend, maybe a little after that, that I think, just my opinion, I'm not going to try to get too in depth with all the terms and everything like that, but I think a pattern changing cold front is going to make its way through the Midwest. I think maybe a blue norther, which is just a term that people out in Midwest have made of basically just a strong cold front that drastically changes, basically just makes drastic changes as far as temps, dew points, weather. Sometimes it can go from 80 degrees to 20 degrees in a blizzard within 24 hours. That's how crazy those blue northers can be. Just a strong cold front. And I think we're going to see it more out in the Midwest first before we see it in the East. I think a cold front's going to sweep through there. I'm not saying the cold front's going to come through and just bang, everything's good, and we got a pattern change. No, it's not like that. But you're definitely seeing it on the GFS run, the operational run. You're starting to see it in the GFSs and the ensembles is what I'm meaning. And the 12Z Euro today kind of showed it. It goes out to 240 hours. It kind of showed it too, reiterated. Now, this is going to change a ton. But one thing's for sure, I think it's going to start with a bang. I think Arctic air is going to spill over the Midwest, and I think places like Dallas is a good example. I think they're gonna get locked in a cold pattern before us and like the Carolinas and stuff do. And I think they're going to see, there's a chance they could see bitterly cold air at some point. Now, this is going to change, guys, but I'm just telling you what I've been seeing the last few days. The Euro's not completely on board with the very cold bias GFS, but even the Euro came on board a little bit today and kind of showed what could be a pattern change on the horizon. So I'm going to go on some clips here, and I'm going to it's going to switch over from the screen. It's not going to show my face anymore or anything like that. I'm going to kind of get on Tropical Tidbits here on my phone and kind of put some graphics right here in front of y'all. So if you kind of, I just want to show you what I'm seeing, kind of explain to you what I'm seeing. I'm going to go, let's go to the latest GFS, which is the 18Z. Basically, it comes out at 6 p.m. I'm going to go to that, and you see we're kind of going through some panels. You see our system going through this weekend. That clears out, which I'll kind of talk on a little bit at the end of this video. And then you see that right there? It's like a winter storm. And guys, this is 210 hours out, but so it's going to change probably about 10, 20, 30 more times. But you see the winter precipitation breaking out over parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, like that. I mean, even they haven't seen a lot this year. But you see the isobars kind of tight together right there in Nebraska, Oklahoma, Kansas. That's a sign of a strong cold front. And you can see it dipping down, and it's kind of backed us up. The previous runs before that had it coming through earlier. Now, it does show one before that. If we kind of go back to about, the 150 range, it kind of shows the one that it was showing beforehand. Let's switch it over to the temperatures, because we need the cold air first. So we're really talking about any precipitation's a little pointless, right? So we need the cold air first. So you see the drastic changes in, say, Texas. You see the cold air kind of getting locked in up in the upper Midwest. I mean, negative 20, negative 30 degrees. That's not, that's pretty cold even for up there. But you can see it's getting locked and loaded. And gradually starting to see a little split in the PV being polar vortex. And it's kind of loading up in the Midwest. And even as I kind of go through these panels, it's not that cold in the east at all. I mean, like up there in Maine, it's cold, but you can see a little CAD set up there in the Carolinas. But you see another reinforcing shot coming down. Now that almost has like a blue northern look to it. You see how it's, in the 70s and almost 80 degrees in parts of Texas, and you see how much colder it is in the upper panhandle of Texas, and it just drops off like that. And then you kind of see another kind of wedge set up. Now that's too much. I mean, we're kind of getting deep into GFS here, where it's in stupid land here. It's just baking in Florida, as you can see. But you can see another reinforcing shot that makes it a little bit more east this time. So you're kind of looking at that. That's what I'm kind of saying. And this is just off the GFS, guys. It's going to hit the Midwest first. It's going to get cold in the Midwest. Places like Dallas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, stuff like that. They're going to get cold first. And then maybe another shot's going to come through and maybe cool the east down, southeast down, stuff like that. So let me kind of switch it over to the Euro model. I just kind of got the basic Euro model, the free one on Tropical Tidbits, and this is a little bit harder to read because it doesn't really, it's not, I mean, it does have colors, but it's not showing temperatures and things like that and precipitation. But let's start kind of at the 0 mark, which is essentially now. And you got a little dip there around us, and that's why it's a little chilly. And then you kind of going into time, and you see how the orange and red builds. That's the southeast ridge that I was talking about in my previous videos. Now, it's still there. And guys, we're going to be warm. It's going to be warming up the next few days, and we're going to be warm for a while. But I'm talking about after this. So it's still there. It's still there. It's still warm. This is next Monday. It's still flexing. And then the pattern kind of gets kind of zonal, which means, I mean, basically, there's no, it's not really super cold anywhere. But as we kind of move on through, you see the isobars right there, kind of on the Euro, right there in the middle of the country, right in the Midwest. And then bam, it kind of flips them. And at this point, you know, we're getting 24-hour flips, so there's some drastic changes. And then this is the last frame of the Euro right here. And then you see that dip right there? That's cold air. I'll change it to the 850s here and the temperatures and everything like that. And it shows it right there. You see, even on the Euro, kind of gets cold in the Midwest first, then it kind of starts to shift, and another blow comes, and we get kind of cold. We get pretty cold in the Southeast even. That's just kind of showing what I'm talking about a little bit. Even on the ensembles, I'm not going to get too deep into that here, but in the ensembles, they've improved more and more. So that's what we're looking for, guys. We're trying to look for that pattern change, and we might be looking for it a little bit too hard, but it's definitely, I'm not going to get into phases and stuff like that, but phase 7 is being thrown around. A guy on Twitter, his name's Eric Webb, one of the smartest guys I know when it comes to weather. He'd be a great follow on Twitter. He mentioned on Twitter earlier that phase 7, we can get into phase 7, which is really digging deep, guys. I'm not going to dig super deep into that, and honestly, I don't know a ton about that. That's still something that I'm learning personally. But we get into certain phases, and it's more favorable for winter weather here in the Carolinas. Phase 7 has been talked about. Once we get into phase 7, over 50%, 60% of the time we get hits here in the Southeast. So certain phases favor different things, and that's getting into a whole nother in-depth conversation with weather that probably a lot of you guys watching may start to be like, all right, man, that's getting super geek mode on me. Anyways, guys, so I'm just going to talk a little briefly about the weather I'm seeing maybe Saturday. It does look like it warms up into our first 70-degree day will probably be Friday, and some storms will move in Saturday. Now, over there, guys, in like Louisiana, maybe parts of Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, they look like they could possibly get some rough storms, and it might turn into kind of like a squall line with some embedded tornadoes. The supercell threat, I don't see it being that high, but you never know. That line that came through here on Halloween here in central South Carolina, well, I think it came through the whole state basically, where it spawned a couple tornadoes here in Lexington County in South Carolina. That was off an embedded tornado, and from a squall line, which is, I mean, just kind of have to have favorable conditions for that. And that's about the only risk I see, and really I don't see that risk so much here. The timing isn't nailed down, but I think this is going to be more of a nocturnal thing, meaning nighttime. At nighttime, maybe a strong line of storms may come through the area. Again, I do not think that storms are going to be super bad in our area. I think they're going to be worse as we go in what we call the deep south. So definitely keep your prayers up for that area. There definitely can be some destructive storms. I mean, that's about it, guys. We're entering a period where we're waiting, and we're burning a lot of time waiting. But you think about years like 2014, Granted, it's a horrible example as far as temperatures because even in January 2014, we were frigid. But it took till late January 2014 before we got a storm. You think about, probably not another great example, but you think about the historic winter in Boston in 2015. I think they only had maybe not even 10 inches of snow all the way up till about mid to late January. And they ended up with the record snowiest winter ever from about like January 20 something all the way through beginning of March. I ended up getting like 107 inches of snow. So what I'm saying, guys, is things could turn up and turn up fast. And I've seen a lot of situations where it happens even here. The historic ice storm in 2004, I think the day before it hit, it was in the 70s, and the CAD moved in, cold air damming wedge moved in, backdoor cold front, whatever you want to call it, and we had an ice storm starting the next day. So anything can happen. It could go from one extreme to another. I can tell you one thing right now, the polar vortex is still strong. The stronger it is, the harder it is to have an Arctic outbreak because it's strong up there. We need to weaken, we need to have a disruption in it, and we need to come down and give us a little action. And I said earlier, somebody throw a rock at it, piss it off, make it come down here, and give us some cold air. Make it be winter, you know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, guys. I'd appreciate it if you watched the video all the way through. And even if you just gave it a watch, I really appreciate it. I love doing this. I've met a lot of new friends doing this. Like it, subscribe would be great if you want to get updates quicker. And I appreciate all you guys. Comment below if you got any questions or anything, guys. Appreciate y'all. Bye.